Coming up on Live at 5.
I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
Fans around the world mourn the loss of Carrie Fisher, better known as Princess Leia in Star Wars. We take a look back at her life. Plus,
with coverage you can count on, this is With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News, live at 5.
yeah, I guess I should put it on, I suppose.
Trey says that usually helps.
Hello, Trey, and everybody else out there in TV land. Appreciate you checking in today on WRCBTV.com. Click, click.
Why don't people demand the return of that song, by the way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. I told Leo this morning that I was going to talk about the documentary and how important it is for people to watch, and I said it would be so great if you just stopped by, and this was just a few hours ago, so he actually left his house and came here. So it really is, with the election coming up, what do you want people to take away from this?
Well, look, first off, thank you for giving an amazing shout out for this documentary. This was a 3-year endeavor on behalf of Fisher Stevens, the director, and myself. We literally traveled all around the world from Greenland to Indonesia. We got to speak to some incredible world leaders, some fantastic scientists. We got President Barack Obama in the documentary. We have the Pope in the documentary. And we're basically trying to convey the science of climate change to the general public. You know, this is happening faster than anyone could have predicted. It's a very urgent issue. I mean, 2016 was the hottest year in recorded history. July was the hottest month in recorded history. And we want people to keep that in mind when they go to the polls. We need leaders that want to take action on this issue, that believe in modern science. So go out there this November 8th. Please vote. And if you get a chance, please see my documentary. It's free to the public up until this Sunday. After that, it'll be on National Geographic.
Yeah, and it's really very important to watch. All right, it's called Before the Flood, and as Leo said, it's free this weekend on Facebook, and then it's on NatGeoTV.com. You can go to our website for more information. I want to thank Leo DiCaprio, Justin Timberlake, Gabrielle Union. Have a wonderful weekend. Be kind to one another. Bye. Anyway.
with coverage you can count on. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News, live at 5.
Coming up on Live at 5.
I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
Fans around the world mourn the loss of Carrie Fisher, better known as Princess Leia in Star Wars. We take a look back at her life. Plus, several fires broke out in the scenic city, causing evacuations and damage. We'll fill you in on 3 major blazes. Chaos at Hamilton Place as shoppers thought an active shooter was on the loose.
Until you've been in there thinking that there's somebody shooting where your kid is, you don't know how you would react.
Some reacted by running to the nearest door. We have team coverage as Live at 5 starts now.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News, live at 5 in HD.
Good afternoon. As you just saw, dozens of shoppers rushed toward the exits yesterday at Hamilton Place, fearing what they believe to be an active shooter inside the mall. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Greg Glover in for Cindy Sexton. Those thoughts were eased after Chattanooga police said the shots fired were actually fireworks that had been set off by teenagers inside the mall.
And that in itself quite frightening. We have team coverage this evening with Channel 3's Tim Pham covering police response. And a woman sat down with our Natalie Potts saying she was trampled by the crowd while trying to get out of the mall. We begin with Natalie.
Well, I spoke to several people today who were still shaken up. They say it was absolute chaos when those fireworks went off. They say people were running through the mall screaming active shooter and there's a gun, which caused hundreds of people to run towards the exits all at once. Kids and customers were trampled. People were screaming. Some parents even got separated from their children. So it was absolutely a nightmare for all.
It was very loud, and it sounded like a semi-automatic gun going off.
Wendy Haynes was just footsteps away from the fireworks inside of Hamilton Place Mall's Victoria's Secret Pink store. Her daughter was in the dressing room, now embarrassed she had to run out without her clothes.
They had rerouted the line, and if they had not, I would have been standing where the fireworks landed.
She says some customers were running for their lives in fear, while others were crawling and shielding their kids from what they thought was an active shooter scenario. Strangers grabbed children to keep them safe. Several families were separated.
It was just terrifying, knowing you can't find your children. My daughter got ran over. She's got bruises all over her legs because she got pushed into and tripped over a table trying to get out.
This mother of 5 broke 2 bones in her foot. She says she was trampled by a crowd of people in the food court while trying to escape with her kids.
It's the scariest thing they've ever been through, they told me. And me too. Hope to never go through it again.
A trip to the mall and now unable to work and support her family.
It's going to set us back. I mean, I'm not able to do what I need to do at home, you know. I can't even drive to get my kids to school.
19-year-old Ivy Irvin is now recovering from a knee injury.
Immediately was trampled to the ground by other people, and I have shoe marks on my jacket actually from people stepping on me, and my knee took the first hit.
This is the second incident at Hamilton Place in recent weeks. There was also a shooting on Black Friday. Some say they're afraid to return, and their kids are scared too.
Until you've been in there thinking that there's somebody shooting where your kid is, you don't know how you would react.
There's a lot of fear there. The injured women that we spoke with today say they plan to talk to an orthopedic surgeon for additional care. Of course, no serious injuries were reported and the suspects have not been arrested. If you have any information that can help investigators, call Chattanooga Police. Reporting live at Hamilton Place Mall, Natalie Potts, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Natalie, thank you. Police from Chattanooga were there at the scene at the mall there last night as a safety precaution for hours.
And several shoppers called police in fear of their lives. And now officers tell Channel 3's Tim Pham what you should do if a situation like this ever happens to you. Here's Tim Pham.
It was a chaotic day at Hamilton Place. Shoppers found themselves running away from deals after fireworks went off inside the mall.
This is video of shoppers running out of the mall after they heard what they thought were gunshots. With malls now targets for violence, shoppers like Jim Tanner say they didn't want to wait to find out what that noise was.
The first thing I knew is just there were, several people came running past me and headed toward the exterior doors. And so I just kind of followed along because you don't know what's happening at that point and or what's about to come around the corner.
Although this wasn't a shooting, the Department of Homeland Security says it's good to prepare. Running should always be your first choice, but if you can't escape, hiding is the next best option. And finally, your last choice is fighting.
Officials say if you notice something suspicious in a public setting like a mall, you should contact authorities immediately, but only when it's safe. Reporting in Chattanooga, Tim Pham, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Now, this fireworks incident is the second scary event that has happened at Hamilton Place in recent weeks. A juvenile was arrested in connection with a double shooting that happened there on Black Friday. Chattanooga police say an argument started inside the mall, and those involved ended up in the parking lot where two people were shot, one in the arm, the other in the leg. That suspect was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder and reckless endangerment.
Hamilton Place wasn't the only mall that had a scare during the post-Christmas rush. Shopping was interrupted at the Oak Court Mall in Memphis. Officials asked people to leave after an argument between two people escalated. One person was arrested. Also in Memphis, a large group of people started a riot in the Wolf Chase Galleria. 6 people were arrested there. Similar incidents were reported in Colorado, Ohio, Texas, and in Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll have the full story on the incident in Indianapolis tonight on Live at 5:30. And we'll keep you updated on the Hamilton Place Mall incident on our website, WRCBTV.com.
Well, many of us woke up to wet weather this morning, and we're all wondering what lays ahead.
That's Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris is live in the Storm Alert Center. Tell us if the rain's going to be making an appearance again this week. How about it, Paul?
Well, we needed the rain. We need more, but we got some. South of the city, not as much. Let's take a look right now at the satellite photo and show you where the clouds are. The rain's all over with. We're going to put this into motion. We had the clouds, but they're scooting out of here. They're moving over the Blue Ridge Mountains. So just a few scattered clouds left over. The one thing we're going to have to watch out for is some patchy dense fog in a few places overnight. But again, you see really not that much out there right through Wednesday afternoon. And coming up into, it looks like now Thursday around midnight. And just a little over 24 hours from now, we're going to see some more clouds start to roll in. Maybe some showers. Best chance should be south of the city. So we're expecting by 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, very little rain, then clearing off again. But the winds will really start to pick up on Thursday. And as far as temperatures go, or as far as the rainfall goes, we may see maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain south of the city coming up into late Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. But that's about it. And then some more rain over the weekend. We'll tell you about that on my 7-day forecast.
Paul, thank you. Chattanooga police have arrested a suspect in a Christmas Eve shooting. 22-year-old Ornisha Swafford has been charged with attempted first-degree murder and 3 additional charges in the shooting on 12th Avenue. Police say the 20-year-old victim was shot in the leg after a fight. That victim is expected to recover.
Firefighters have been busy the last couple of days battling blazes in Chattanooga. A second fire in just 2 days sent another woman to the hospital. This time, Chattanooga Fire Department responded to a home on Forest Mead Drive. That's in Hickson. It was just before 8 o'clock on Monday night. The woman was transferred to Erlanger. She had burn injuries. No word on the extent, though. Investigators say she was using a gas can in her garage when it caught fire. That's based on preliminary information. We're told the cause officially is still under investigation.
We have breaking news just into the newsroom this afternoon. Authorities in Marion County are responding to a plane crash which has happened on Highway 72 at the Tennessee-Alabama state line. Now, we have a crew on the way to the scene. Once again, a plane crash in Marion County on Highway 72 at the Tennessee-Alabama state line. We should have more information on that momentarily. A fire broke out at a Southside scrap metal recycling facility, forcing evacuations. Chattanooga firefighters arrived at PSC Metals on West 19th Street this morning around 8:30. There was a 40-foot tool trailer on fire inside the warehouse, and it took firefighters about an hour to get that under control. They moved the employees to another part of the plant for safety. There were no injuries reported, and they're still trying to find out what caused that fire.
And firefighters were called to a business in St. Elmo this morning, too. They responded to the scene of Southern Cellulose just before 7. A trailer full of 600-pound bales of cellulose material was fully engulfed in flames, they say. An employee using a self-contained breathing apparatus pulled the bales out of the trailer so that the fire crews could wet down those smoldering bales. They were able to get the flames under control with fire-resistant foam. No injuries were reported. The actress a generation came to know as Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, has died at the age of 60.
She had been hospitalized after suffering a heart attack while flying from London to Los Angeles last Friday. NBC's Kurt Gregory takes a look back at the life of Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher was born in 1956 into entertainment royalty, the daughter of pop singer Eddie Fisher and actress Debbie Reynolds. At the age of 15, appearing as a singer in Broadway's Irene, alongside her mother. Her film debut was in 1975 in the comedy Shampoo.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But just 2 years later, Fisher blasted off to stardom in Star Wars.
I love you.
She would return as Princess Leia Organa in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, sharing her time on movie sets and on Broadway. But behind the curtain, Fisher battled years of drug dependency and scandal. In 1983, she married singer Paul Simon, but the marriage ended just 8 months later. Fisher turned to writing, publishing her first novel in 1987, Postcards from the Edge. In all, writing 7 books, working on dozens of plays for screen and stage, in between roles on the big and small screen. She wrote and starred in Wishful Drinking on Broadway.
I am the Pez dispenser, and I'm in the abnormal psychology textbook. Who says you can't have it all?
The one-woman show examined her life as a child in Hollywood, growing up in the glare of the spotlight, battling addiction and her fight against bipolar disorder. The book adaptation would go on to become a New York Times bestseller. In the past 2 years, Fisher came back to the story that made her famous, reprising her role of Princess Leia in both Star Wars 7: The Force Awakens and Episode 8, set for release in 2017, finding a new generation of fans. Kurt Gregory, NBC News.
Coming up on Live at 5, a massive sinkhole in Michigan is threatening about 24 homes, one of which has already collapsed. What officials are doing to get it under control, next at 5.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Channel 3 Eyewitness News traffic sponsored by CHI Memorial Convenient Care. No matter how minor the emergency, we provide trusted urgent care for every bump, bruise, cold, or cough. Now in Cleveland and Signal Mountain.
There you see I-24 at Moore Road. Not too bad for this Tuesday afternoon rush hour. There are some problems not far from there. Lee Highway at 153, as there's an accident there. And also, as you heard a little while ago, a small plane has crashed on Highway 72 right at the Tennessee-Alabama state line in the South Pittsburgh area. We're following up on that. We'll let you know more when we find out more.
Paul Bear is standing by to tell us what to expect after another gray day. Paul?
That's right. The clouds are breaking up now, but not east of the city, into the Blue Ridge Mountains out near Morganton, which is where East Fenton Elementary is. Looking out towards the east, there's still lots of clouds. You're looking further to the west. The skies are starting to get a little bluer, but the sun will be going down very, very soon. You can see it on the satellite photo too, with all the clouds pushing off towards the east, the showers really fading out. It was heavier rain The heaviest rain was to the west of Chattanooga for last night and early this morning, but high pressure is building in. The air will sink, and we're going to see the sun come back after some patchy dense fog forms later on tonight. Winds out of the north-northeast at 5 with 60 at the current temperature. 59 Dalton, 57 Cleveland, 59 Athens, 58 near Murphy, and 59 in Fort Payne. 62 and 55 the high and the low just for today, so only a 7-degree spread because of all that rain. We had 27/100ths of an inch of rain at the airport. 2/10 in Dalton, 3/10 in Trenton, 4/10 Lafayette, 2/10 in Chatsworth, and about 2/10 out near Calhoun. Fort Mountain had about 1/10 of an inch of rain, with Cleveland at about 4/10, a half inch from Mowbray Mountain, Signal Mountain, Red Bank, all the way to 6/10 up on Lookout Mountain, while Ooltewah, East Ridge, and Ringgold only had about 3/10 of an inch of rain. Dunlap had 9/10. Cagle Mountain had an inch, and Colmont, Danny Stewart said it came down really heavy up there with 1.5 inches of rain up into Grundy County, with 7/10 in Dayton, a half inch up near Spring City, about a half inch at Turtletown, 4/10 Murphy, and 4/10 out near Jasper. So here's the latest fire forecast again, showing that high pressure moving in, scouring out the fog for tomorrow morning, and then all the cloudiness down to the south. Then another wave of cloudiness starts to move in around 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And most of the showers with this will be spreading fast and getting out of here coming up by 7 o'clock. So overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, could be some showers. But then the big news is the winds are really going to pick up on Thursday, and they'll be really gusty out of the northwest at 15 to 25. It's going to make it feel colder. And then coming up into Friday, we're looking at a lot of sunshine coming back, still a pretty good breeze. All the storminess is going to be out to the west of us. This is coming up into Saturday morning at around 7. And we'll see those clouds start to increase later on into Saturday. Riceville 59 and pretty much sunshine after some morning fog. Kimball, you'll be near 60 for tomorrow after that morning fog burns off. But clearing skies tonight, 38 for the low. That patchy dense fog will form. There's some low-lying moisture around, but the temperature's dropping really fast. They're going to drop to that dew point temperature, and you see a lot of dew, and you're also going to see some fog develop. For tomorrow, some morning fog burns off. The sun comes back, 61 with light winds. Not a bad day after the fog burns off. Tomorrow night, 46. Clouds increase. Showers develop late. And then on the 7-day forecast, just some brief showers coming up Thursday morning with 55. Friday, much colder at 46. And it's going to feel pretty cold all day long with a low of 28 Saturday morning. Clouds increasing Saturday, and into Saturday night we'll see the rain move in. Sunday and Monday look wet too. And then on Tuesday, we're looking at a chance for some showers again, 60.
And let's send out some good wishes to our colleague, Benny Butler, master control operator who helps keep us on the air.
He's been here a long time.
He's been here a long time. He's in the hospital and will be undergoing surgery tomorrow. Benny, we know you're watching. We're thinking of you, and we hope everything goes just great. He's a good man, and we hope we stay on the air without him for a few days. Coming up on Eyewitness News Live at 5, a sneak peek at what President-elect Trump might say in his inaugural speech.
How'd we find out? You may have guessed. He tweeted about it, 140 characters at a time. And President Obama visited Pearl Harbor. Why this is significant in the history books. Stay with us.
President-elect Trump is back at work, meeting behind the scenes with advisors as he puts the finishing touches on his cabinet.
While the future commander-in-chief has been out of sight, he's been highly visible on Twitter, and we're getting a peek today at the tone he plans to set during his inaugural speech. NBC's Brian Moore reports.
President-elect Trump takes the oath of office here on January 20th. And just as this stand is a work in progress, so is his inaugural address. The focus?
Themes of which you've heard throughout the campaign, through the transition, and are represented in the inaugural that we're planning. Themes of unity, themes of dreaming big, all those themes that uplift America.
For now, the next president is delivering his message 140 characters at a time. In his latest tweet storm, he's dismissing the United Nations as just a club for people to get together, talk, and have a good time. That in the wake of last week's Security Council resolution ordering Israel to halt settlement of Palestinian-occupied territory. Trump opposed the measure and may be in a position to pressure the UN going forward.
You know, right now at the UN, 70% of the entire budget is spent on personnel, and the United States pays 22% of the total budget.
Well, critics say the future president went too far in speaking his mind on Israel. Supporters say President Obama should have listened.
And certainly to do something that you know is deliberately at odds with what the incoming president is going to do on a stage this big, I think shows a certain pettiness that I'm surprised to see in President Obama.
Trump's tweet insisting he could have beaten President Obama is the most recent example of how the unexpected has become routine during a transition that's anything but traditional. Brian Moore, NBC News, Washington.
While Trump has announced plans to dissolve his charitable foundation to avoid conflicts of interest, New York's Attorney General repeated today that that can't happen because the foundation is still under investigation.
President Obama and the Japanese Prime Minister visited Pearl Harbor 75 years after the attacks that put the U.S. into World War II. This was the first time a Japanese prime minister has visited the memorial on the site of the 1941 attack, and the visit comes 6 months after the president became the first sitting U.S. president to visit Hiroshima for victims of the atomic bombing in World War II.
Crews have begun pumping sewage into a Detroit area river to prevent flooding after a sinkhole forced people to leave their homes. The sinkhole is 250 feet long and 100 feet wide in Fraser, Michigan. It's forced people in about 24 homes to get out. Officials say one home's partially collapsed. 3 homes are considered unsafe. The sinkhole began forming on Saturday, and it's believed it started because of a sewer failure 60 feet below the damaged home. Officials hope to have people back into their homes, at least the ones that are habitable, within 2 weeks. Coming up on Live at 5, a nice way to end the newscast, baby giant pandas.
2 words you don't often hear in the same sentence, baby giants. Well, these twins are from a safari park in China, and visitors have been flocking to their habitat. We'll take a closer look when we come back. Newborn giant panda twins have been meeting with visitors at a safari park in South China.
Over the past 2 months, the mother and 2 male cubs have been under the care of breeders. 2-month-old twins now weigh about 8.5 pounds each. That's compared with about 1/4 of a pound when they were born. The 14-year-old mother gave birth to the twins on October 9th. A campaign to collect proposals for the names of the panda twins is currently underway.
So there's your moment of cuteness. You don't see a lot of cuteness on the news. Well, you know. We want to thank you for watching Eyewitness News Live at 5.
Here's a look at what's coming up.
Ahead on Channel 3, Eyewitness News live at 5:30.
We were right near where the Little River enters the Tennessee River, and we noticed just over the trees a plane that was completely sideways, like a small plane.
Search crews are trying to figure out what happened to a plane that disappeared over the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We'll hear from that woman who thinks she witnessed the plane crash.
And shopping malls across the U.S. reported some violence the day after Christmas. We even had a scare at our Hamilton Place Mall here in Chattanooga. We're live as we talk to mall goers who feared for their lives yesterday, what turned out to be fireworks being set off inside. Those stories and more next, right here on Channel 3.